Welcome back to another episode of Real Appreciation. I am your host, David Clair-Bennett, and the episode we have for you guys today is one that I still cannot believe is happening, especially with all the recent news emerging of a new Wolf Creek movie in the works. Is it true? Are the rumors true of a Wolf Creek 3 movie? Well, you'll have your answers pretty soon because I asked the Australian madman himself. I cannot do an Australian impression to save my life. I apologize. Mick Taylor, also known as John Jarratt. This interview was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed our conversation as much as I did. But before we jump into the episode, please do me a favor. A lot of you guys are listening to the show, but you're not following the podcast. And that's all right. That's okay. All I ask is if you can click that follow button wherever you're listening to this podcast on. And even rate us 5 stars if you enjoy. It means the world, it helps boost our show in the algorithm, it helps connect to more audiences out there. We also upload the video versions of our interviews on the YouTube channel, so please head over there and subscribe. Just type in David Clair-Bennett and yours truly will pop up. Anyways, enough with my yapping. It is now time for my official interview with the legendary, iconic, Australian murderous psycho villain in horror movie history, John Jarratt. Welcome to the Real Appreciation Podcast. I am David Clair-Bennett, and I'm honored to be here with today's guest. And no, I'm not just saying that because I've seen what he's done to people in the Wolf Creek movies. I am saying that because it is very true. He's an actor most known for his portrayal as Mick Taylor in the Wolf Creek franchise. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome to the show, John Jarratt.
How the bloody hell are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Very good. Not too bad for an old fella.
Good. Well, first off, thank you again for doing this with me. Not too many people can say that they were able to sit across from one of Australia's most iconic horror movie villains and live to tell about it. So for real, thank you for not taking my life and for sparing me on this one.
Oh, you've got 15,000 miles between you and me.
Wow.
You're safe.
Oh, thank goodness. So Quentin Tarantino once hailed you as the best Australian actor out there. I also know that you had a role in his 2012 film Django Unchained. So talk to me about your relationship with Tarantino.
Well, before Wolf Creek, not after, he got off the plane with Kill Bill in 2003, I think it was, and said, "I want to meet John Jarratt. He's my favorite Australian actor." And I got a call from my agent saying that that's what the guy said, and he wants you to be at the Kill Bill premiere tonight. And I said, well, that all sounds pretty fantastic, but I'm in Queensland at the moment, which is like the equivalent of you being in Florida. And so I can't get there. And then I got a message back saying, he's really disappointed you can't make it. Would you be open to fly to Sydney tomorrow and have a drink with him at Circular Quay at the hotel he was staying at? And I said, oh, hang on, I'll just look at the diary. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. So, yeah, of course I did. And so I went and met him, and we had a drink, and he's got a photographic memory, and he knows more about Australian movies than I do. And he asked me questions about the films that he really liked of mine. One was a horror film called Next of Kin, which he absolutely loved. And another one called Dark Age was about a rogue crocodile that eats a kid and a few other things, which I didn't think was very good, but he loves it. And he's the only person with a 35mm print on the planet. And when he came over to Australia on one of his visits with his movies, he played it in one of our big old school cinemas, the Cremorne Orpheum. Yeah. So that's, and then he saw Wolf Creek, and it's one of his favorite horror films of all time. And then I met him again, and every time he came over with a film, he invited me along. So we got to know each other a bit, and he had a Wolf Creek poster, and he says, "Here, John, sign this, and none of this best wishes bullshit," you know. So I did that, and then I was going to be in where he plays the guy's a stuntman in it. it was a double bill film. What's the name of it? Where they're in the stunt cars. You doesn't ring a bell?
Nah, I don't remember that one.
Anyway, I was going to be in that, and I was going to run the Dingo Bar in LA, and I was going to be an Aussie barman. And then he changed his mind and said the Aussie thing doesn't really work. He put it in there just so he could get me to be in it, but it said it's got to be an LA diner or something. So he changed it back, and guess who played the barman? He did. And anyway, he placed to type, even though I could sure in hell do all your accents. So yes, sir, Bob. But you know, he likes to cast a type. So I had to play an Australian to be in his movie, and so that's how it all happened. Yeah,
That's amazing, man. I think a fun fact that a lot of people might be surprised to hear about you is that you're not the biggest fan of horror movies. Is that right?
I'm a big fan of horror movies, just not the bullshit ones.
Okay, your IMDb page says that. That's why I asked.
I love Psycho because the bad guy just acts, is an actor. I like Cape Fear because both Robert Mitchum, I like both of them, Robert Mitchum and De Niro are just acting. Hannibal Lecter because the guys are just acting. And most of those films can actually happen. I hate zombie movies. They fall into pieces. They walk slower than your nana, and you're supposed to be scared of them. I think Mick Taylor would just have a field day, just taking them apart all day, just for something fun to do while he eats an apple. And then when they put themselves back together and mow them down again, you know, just Saturday afternoon fun. No, so I don't like people who wear leather masks and Freddy Krueger masks. I like people who can act in horror movies, and they're my favorite horror movies. Yeah, I'm not scared of anything because my dad was a coal miner. He was 5'9" and weighed about I don't know what it is in pounds, but he weighed about 90 odd kilos, and he was a coal miner. And after him, no one scared me. take my old man on, you'd run second best, you know. Mick Taylor's based on my father.
Really?
Not a psychopath or a serial killer. He was a lovely bloke, but he was a tough guy, and he was very funny. And he was built like a brick shithouse, as we say in Australia. Big, solid guy.
Well, there's something authentic, like you said, about movies that can genuinely scare you, not because of a mask or something supernatural or zombie-like, but because, hey, that person has a face of an everyday friend, a neighbor, somebody that I could see, and that's what's scary, is that it could actually happen to you.
Yeah. Well, anyone who knew Mick Taylor socially would probably meet him out in a bar and say, "Oh, Mick's in. Oh, we're going to have a bit of a laugh tonight. He's going to have a few beers and a few jokes. Good bloke, you know, nice guy. Great to be around. Funny bastard. Don't mess with him, though. He'll punch your nose out, you know." But that's as far as it would go. You know, no one would know he was a serial killer.
Speaking of Mick Taylor, there's a lot of buzz right now on the internet about Wolf Creek. Wolf Creek 3 in particular, not sure what you're allowed to say, but I've got to at least ask, can you confirm or deny the rumors if we are getting a Wolf Creek 3?
Oh, it was launched last Saturday. It's gone public. It's
Okay.
definitely happening. And we're hoping to start filming in around February, March, somewhere there. And I'm back in the gym. I'm trying to get the muscles back up.
Look good. Looking good.
And close. And I don't think I look 72. I think I can still pull Mick off pretty well. And I'm a very health conscious guy, and I eat really well, and I'm fit, and I'm lucky I haven't aged that much. So I think I can pull it off again. And when I get the muscles up and broaden the neck and do all that, you know.
Let's talk about your relationship with Greg McLean. I'm a big fan of, obviously, both Wolf Creek, but other films of his like The Belko Experiment. What do you think it is that makes your two collaboration work so well?
We like to say with Wolf Creek, he's fucked without me, and I'm fucked without him. We are together Wolf Creek. So I was extremely lucky, because when we made Wolf Creek 1, I went and met him. He was living above a shop. He wasn't doing too well. And he'd written this script, which I read, and I thought, well, it's a pretty good yarn. I think if he gets it on the screen, it'll work pretty well. I never, in my wildest dreams, thought it was going to become what it did become. Anyway, then I sat down with him, and I said, what films have you done? He said, I've done a couple of shorts. I said, oh, that's nice. And what about your cameraman? Oh, he's done some commercials with me. You've never shot a drama? No. How much money you got to do this epic? So 1.1 million, which is not enough, and to do everything we were supposed to do. So okay. And what about the 2 English girls? How are you going to get them? I said, I'll have to get Aussies, and that can always be a problem in case they get their accent wrong, And I walked away, and I thought, oh well, I thought it could have been a good film, but I didn't think he was going to put it together, to be honest. Anyway, I agreed to it, and we went and made it. And he didn't just make it; he exploded it off the screen. I just happened to run into a very talented man, and the cinematographer was extraordinary. One of the best directors I've ever worked with, and one of the best DPs I've ever worked with. And I had that happen to me before in 1974 when I made my first film called Picnic at Hanging Rock. The guy Peter Weir, who's won countless Academy Awards and Dead Poets Society and Master and Commander and The Truman Show. That's Peter Weir, who directed Picnic at Hanging Rock. He'd never directed a film before either. And the guy who was the director of photography, Russell Boyd, who's also won Academy Awards as a cameraman, cinematographer, he'd only made Qantas commercials and stuff, and cigarette commercials. And his camera work is extraordinary. So twice in my life, I've had the pleasure of working with very green talent, green experience-wise, but genius talent, So that's what I got to say about Greg. He's extremely good at what he does. He's just born. Some people are born to things, right? And
right.
Those guys are, yeah.
What are you most excited about Wolf Creek 3?
I'm just because it's dark and creepy again. It's more like the first one, okay. Which with the second one we had a bit of fun, and cracked a few jokes, and but it was still pretty bloody good. But the first one is the dark, creepy thing is I think the ultimate when it comes to playing Mick, just creeping up and being scary a lot. He never runs, never yells, never dies.
The reason I bring all this Wolf Creek talk up is I've been seeing so much love from myself included online. Just everyone's going crazy. They're super happy to see you back and happy to see everyone back. And I bring this up as there's this guy on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and he makes these incredible concept movie posters for a lot of horror movies. I think he's actually gone on to work with some pretty big professional people. And he made one for Wolf Creek 3. I'll have to show you because some of his work sometime. But he made one, and dude, it's been almost 2 decades or so since the first one. And how crazy is to see so much of a cultural impact this movie alone has made on people almost 20 years later. How crazy is that to see?
Yeah. Well, you got my email. Send it.
His name's Creepy Duck Design. He's a great artist.
Well, send it through to me, and I'll send it on to Greg. See what he thinks.
Yeah.
So what was the question? Sorry.
How crazy is to see how much love you guys are getting almost 20 years later?
Yeah. Well, it augurs well for COVID stuffed things up, right? Because we looked like getting going, and COVID fell over because we couldn't make it.
Right.
And it took a while to pick it all back up again and put it out again. And so it's ended up taking a lot longer than we'd hoped, right? And we thought, wow, it's like 2014 Wolf Creek 2 movie, and we had the series as well on streaming, but so there's a lot of years between the two movies, like it was the Wolf Creek 1 and Wolf Creek 2 were 10 years apart too. So, and we thought, oh, this is going to be detrimental. Everyone will be, bored by it, and may have missed the boat. But I think it's worked the other way. I think everyone is so hanging for it, and I don't look like Methuselah, so I can pull it off, and I'm still really healthy. So I think that it's going to go really, really well. I have a feeling that if we get the film right, it'll go off.
When are they hoping for it to be released? Do you know any of that yet?
Oh well, you just the most sensible thing to do would be to make it next year, and you wouldn't put it out till November, and you get the Christmas crowd for sure, even if it's ready before that. So I think they'd be aiming for Christmas 25. Wow. Bring it out like November or something like that. First one was released in the States on Christmas Eve in 2025 and 2005. Wow. So I think that's the way it'll go. Yeah.
It'll definitely be a Wolf Creek Christmas, hopefully if all goes well. But hey, as we wind down here, this show is so big on gratitude and self-love and care. And every day when I wake up and before I go to bed, I tell myself, John, 3 things that I'm grateful for. So with that being said, I'd like to ask you, what are 3 things you are grateful for in your life right now?
3 things I'm grateful for: my health, my wife, and the next 30 years of my life.
You're going to get to the big one, 3 digits.
I got to get to 102. Because my youngest child, Riley, he was born when I was 51, and I want to be 102, at least 102 before I die, so that I can see where he got to by the time he was 51. I think I would have seen enough of his life to die happy.
That's a beautiful answer, man. I want to be respectful of your time here, but I got one more question, a deep question for you, if you will. When it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
That he was a good man and one hell of an actor.
I love that, man. Where can people find you online?
At Real John Jarratt on Instagram, and that's about it, really. I'm a techno peasant. I don't even do it. I text my management, and they put everything up.
Love it.
Yeah, the only thing I'm good at with computers is writing scripts on them and sending emails. That's about it. But I can build you a really nice desk because I'm a builder as well.
Are you?
Most of you technical bastards out there couldn't build a desk, could you? Yeah. I could build you one to put your laptop on.
I will go ahead and link John's socials in the description below. Dude, this has been so awesome. And hey, make sure you follow John online, and I will make sure all that's put down there. And stay tuned for Wolf Creek 3 news because, John, we are all, and I speak for all the horror fans, we are all super excited and super stoked. And hey, if you find yourself in front of a truck being driven by Mick Taylor, well, good luck. Thank you again for your time, man. This was so much fun. I appreciate you a lot.
Thank you so much. All the very best to you.
How awesome was that interview? I love just being able to say for the rest of my life that I survived a meeting with Mick Taylor. All jokes aside, I appreciate John a lot, and I want to take the time to also shout out to his manager, Lewis, for helping us set this up. And of course, I need to thank you guys, the fans, the listeners, the audience, because recently we just surpassed 3,000 subscribers on YouTube and over 500,000 total viewers. 500,000! That's freaking insane. You guys are awesome. I'm extremely grateful for all of you. I appreciate each and every one of you guys so much. Thank you for all that you do. You will never understand how much joy that each and every one of you bring me. You'll never understand how much I am grateful for all of this being able to happen thanks to each and every one of you. Seriously, Sincerely, I'm blessed and I say thank you. And speaking of being grateful, I cannot leave without spilling some words of gratitude your way. So this week's words of gratitude come from Dennis Waitley, and he says, happiness cannot be traveled to, nor owned, earned, worn, nor consumed, as happiness is the spiritual experience of living each and every minute with love, grace, and gratitude. Humbling words from a very humble man. I'm gonna go ahead and head on out of here, guys. Thank you all for being a part of this incredible, surreal experience. Just 2 months in, and look at how far we have come in such a short amount of time. I truly do appreciate you all. I know I've said it a million times, but I really mean that with each part of me, with all my heart. Stay safe, take care, have a wonderful, blessed rest of your week. We will be back next week with a brand new interview, a brand new episode, right here on Real Appreciation with David Clair-Bennett. I'm David Clair-Bennett, you are you, and that is awesome. Stay grateful, stay humble, stay you. Love yourself because you fucking matter. Peace.